Welcome to episode 48 of the Peak Performance Podcast by Brad Young. In today's podcast, we'll explore the critical differences between training for hypertrophy, muscle growth, and strength development, and how to optimize your training approach based on your unique body type. We'll examine how to identify your somatotype, create customized training programs, and learn from the workout philosophies of legendary bodybuilders who mastered the art of training specifically for their genetic predispositions. Whether you're looking to maximize muscle growth, increase raw strength, or find the perfect balance between the two, this guide provides the scientific framework and practical applications to help you become a peak performer in your fitness journey. Understanding hypertrophy versus strength training. At first glance, training for size, hypertrophy, and training for strength might seem like the same thing. After all, bigger muscles are stronger muscles, right? While there's certainly overlap, the physiological adaptations and training approaches differ significantly. Understanding these differences is crucial for optimizing your training based on your goals and body type. Hypertrophy training. Hypertrophy training primarily focuses on increasing muscle cell size. This type of training typically involves moderate weights, 60 to 75% of your 1 rep max, higher rep ranges, 8 to 12 reps per set. Shorter rest periods, 30 to 90 seconds. Higher overall training volume. Greater emphasis on time under tension. More isolation exercises targeting specific muscle groups. Strength training. Strength training focuses on increasing your capacity to produce force, often without significant increases in muscle size. This approach typically involves heavier weights, 85 to 95% of your 1 rep max. Lower rep ranges, 1 to 5 reps per set. Longer rest periods, 3 to 5 minutes. Lower overall training volume. Focus on neural adaptations and motor unit recruitment. Emphasis on compound, multi-joint movements. The primary adaptations in strength training occur in the nervous system, with improvements in motor unit recruitment, rate coding, and intermuscular coordination playing significant roles in strength development. Hypertrophy weight. This is the percentage of 1 rep max typically used for optimal muscle growth training. Strength weight. This is the percentage of 1 rep max typically used for maximal strength development. Hypertrophy reps. Optimal repetition range for stimulating muscle growth. Strength reps. Typical repetition range for developing maximal strength. The molecular signaling pathways activated by these different training styles also differ. Hypertrophy training tends to prioritize metabolic stress and mechanical tension, activating the motor pathway responsible for protein synthesis. Strength training focuses more on neural efficiency and myofibrillar adaptations that increase force production capabilities without necessarily increasing muscle cross-sectional area to the same degree. The science of body types. Understanding somatotypes. To optimize your training approach, it's essential to understand your body type or somatotype. Developed by psychologist William H. Sheldon in the 1940s, somatotyping classifies human physiques into 3 primary categories based on skeletal frame and body composition tendencies. While most people are a blend of these types, understanding your dominant characteristics can help you design more effective training programs. Ectomorph, characterized by a lean, thin build with long limbs and lower muscle mass. Ectomorphs typically have fast metabolism, making it difficult to gain weight, narrow shoulders and hips, lower body fat percentages naturally, smaller bone structure, difficulty building significant muscle mass. Famous examples: Frank Zane, Bruce Lee, and marathon runners. Mesomorph, the genetically gifted body type with a naturally athletic build. Mesomorphs typically have efficient metabolism, gaining muscle and losing fat with relative ease. Broad shoulders, narrow waist, rectangular, athletic physique, moderate sized bone structure, responsive to both strength and hypertrophy training. Famous examples: Arnold Schwarzenegger, Flex Wheeler, and many competitive bodybuilders. Endomorph, characterized by a larger bone structure and higher body fat percentage. Endomorphs typically have slower metabolism, making fat loss more challenging, wider hips and shoulders, shorter limbs relative to torso, greater strength potential, ability to build muscle mass relatively easily. Famous examples: Jay Cutler, Lee Priest, and many powerlifters. It's important to note that these classifications aren't rigid boxes, but rather points on a spectrum. Most people have characteristics of multiple somatotypes, often represented as a three-number rating system representing degrees of ectomorphy, mesomorphy, and endomorphy. Your body type isn't a limitation, but rather a guide to understanding how your body might respond to different training approaches. Determining your body type. Accurately identifying your body type is the first step in creating an optimized training program. While professional anthropometric measurements would provide the most accurate assessment, there are several practical methods you can use to determine your dominant somatotype. Visual assessment. Examine your natural physique when at a healthy weight. Look at your bone structure, shoulder to hip ratio, and where you naturally store fat. And compare your physical characteristics to the descriptions of each somatotype. Training response history. Consider how your body has responded to previous training and nutrition approaches. Ectomorphs typically struggle to gain weight despite high calorie intake. Mesomorphs respond well to various training methods. Endomorphs gain muscle easily but may struggle with fat loss. Measurements. Take measurements of your wrist and ankle circumference relative to your height to assess bone structure. Measure shoulder to waist ratio to determine your natural V-taper potential, a key indicator of mesomorphy. Family history. Genetic factors play a significant role in determining body type. Look at close family members to identify patterns in body composition and structure that might indicate your natural tendencies. Simple self-assessment method. Answer the following questions to help determine your dominant body type. Are you a ectomorph or a mesomorph or a endomorph? When not exercising, I tend to A, stay thin, regardless of diet. B, maintain an athletic physique. C, gain weight easily. My shoulders are A, narrow with minimal muscle. B, broad and naturally muscular. C, broader but with more fat tissue. My limbs are A, long and slender. B, proportional with good muscle definition. C, shorter relative to torso. When I begin training, I typically A, gain strength slowly but maintain leanness. B, see balanced progress in strength and size. C, gain strength quickly but also some fat. My body fat distribution is A, minimal overall. B, evenly distributed with good muscle definition. C, concentrated in specific areas, abdomen, hips. Remember that most people are a blend of these types, often having a dominant type with characteristics of others. Understanding your body's tendencies isn't about placing limitations, but rather about working with your genetic predispositions to maximize results. The next section will cover how to optimize your training approach based on your identified body type. Optimizing training for ectomorphs. Ectomorphs face unique challenges in their training journey, primarily the difficulty in gaining and maintaining muscle mass. Their naturally fast metabolism and smaller frame require specific approaches to both training and nutrition. If you've identified yourself as predominantly ectomorphic, the following strategies will help you maximize your results. Training. Principles for ectomorphs. The ideal training approach for ectomorphs balances adequate stimulus for growth while avoiding excessive calorie expenditure. Focus on compound movements that engage multiple muscle groups simultaneously: squats, deadlifts, bench press, rows. Moderate to heavy weights, 70 to 85% of your 1 rep max, to stimulate both strength and hypertrophy adaptations. Moderate rep ranges, 6 to 10 reps, to balance mechanical tension and metabolic stress. Longer rest periods, 2 to 3 minutes, to allow for adequate recovery between sets. Limited cardio to avoid excessive calorie burning. Focus on brief, high intensity intervals rather than long duration, steady state cardio. Slightly lower training frequency, 3 to 4 sessions per week with higher intensity to allow for recovery and growth. Sample ectomorph training. Split. Monday, upper body push, chest, shoulders, triceps. Tuesday, lower body, quadriceps, hamstrings, calves. Wednesday, rest or light activity. Thursday, upper body pull, back, biceps, rear delts. Friday, full body, compound movements only. Weekend, rest and recovery. Nutrition priorities, consistent caloric surplus, 300 to 500 calories above maintenance. Higher carbohydrate intake, 50 to 60% of total calories. Moderate protein intake, 1.6 to 2.0 grams per kilogram of body weight. Frequent meals, 5 to 6 per day to support metabolism. Recovery strategies. Prioritize sleep 8 to 9 hours per night. Limit excessive physical activity outside training. Consider faster digesting protein sources around workouts. Monitor recovery markers and avoid overtraining. Progression model. Focus on progressive overload in weight rather than volume. Aim to increase weights by 2 to 5% every 1 to 2 weeks. Track performance metrics closely. Implement a deceased load weeks every 6 to 8 weeks. Legendary ectomorph Frank Zane built his 3-time Mr. Olympia physique by prioritizing proportion and symmetry rather than sheer mass. His training emphasized quality over quantity with precise movement execution and mind-muscle connection. Rather than trying to match the volume of naturally thicker bodybuilders, Zane focused on creating the perfect stimulus, then allowing adequate recovery, a blueprint that modern ectomorphs would be wise to follow. Optimizing training for mesomorphs. Mesomorphs represent the genetic middle ground in body types, characterized by a naturally athletic physique with balanced proportions. Their bodies respond well to various training stimuli, making them adaptable to different training approaches. If you've identified as predominantly mesomorphic, you have a natural advantage, but optimizing your approach can help you maximize your genetic potential. Training frequency. Mesomorphs can handle higher training frequencies, potentially training each muscle group 2 to 3 times per week. Their enhanced recovery capabilities allow for more frequent stimulus without overtraining. Consider a push, pull, leg split performed twice weekly or an upper-lower split with 4 to 5 training days. Training volume. A moderate to high training volume works well for mesomorphs. Their bodies adapt well to both hypertrophy and strength protocols, allowing for periodized approaches that cycle between volume and intensity phases. Aim for 12 to 16 sets per muscle group per week, distributed across multiple sessions. Exercise selection. Mesomorphs benefit from a diverse exercise selection that includes both compound and isolation movements. Their balanced structure typically means they don't have significant weak points anatomically, allowing them to progress on most exercises. Include a mix of free weights, machines, and body weight exercises for balanced development. Intensity techniques. Mesomorphs can implement advanced intensity techniques to push past plateaus. Methods like drop sets, supersets, and rest pause training can be effectively utilized to maximize hypertrophy. Their efficient recovery systems allow them to handle these higher intensity techniques without excessive fatigue accumulation. Sample mesomorph training program Arnold Schwarzenegger's Golden Era Split. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the quintessential mesomorph and one of the most iconic figures in bodybuilding history, built his legendary physique using a high-volume, high-frequency training approach during his prime. This method emphasized sheer intensity, discipline, and an unwavering dedication to pushing his body to its absolute limits. His famous double split routine, designed to maximize muscle growth in definition, involved training twice a day, 6 days a week, with each session carefully focusing on specific muscle groups. Mornings were often dedicated to larger muscle groups like the chest and back, while evenings targeted smaller ones such as biceps, triceps, or calves. By strategically structuring his workouts, Arnold ensured that each muscle group received adequate attention and time to recover before being trained again. In addition to his rigorous training sessions, Arnold also paid close attention to proper nutrition, supplementation, and rest, understanding that these were just as important as the time spent in the gym. His routine not only sculpted one of the most admired physiques in bodybuilding history, but also set a gold standard for aspiring bodybuilders worldwide. Arnold's approach serves as a testament to the power of hard work, consistency, and a well thought out training strategy tailored to one's goals. While this extreme volume approach worked for Arnold and other elite mesomorphs of the pre steroid testing era, modern natural trainees should adapt this by reducing the overall volume while maintaining the emphasis on compound movements and training variety. A more sustainable approach for natural mesomorphs would involve 4 to 5 training sessions per week with a mix of strength and hypertrophy work, allowing for proper recovery while still providing adequate stimulus for growth. Optimizing training for endomorphs. Endomorphs face unique challenges in their fitness journey, primarily related to body composition management and metabolic efficiency. Their naturally higher body fat percentage and slower metabolism require specific approaches to training and nutrition. If you've identified yourself as predominantly endomorphic, the following strategies will help you maximize your natural strength advantages while addressing potential limitations. Training principles for endomorphs. The ideal training approach for endomorphs balances strength development with metabolic conditioning. Higher training frequency, 4 to 6 sessions per week, to increase caloric expenditure and metabolic rate. Compound movements is the foundation, leveraging the endomorph's natural strength potential. Moderate to higher rep ranges, 8 to 15 reps, to increase work capacity and caloric burn. Shorter rest periods, 60 to 90 seconds between sets, to maintain elevated heart rate. Strategic cardio integration, including both HIIT and moderate intensity steady state work. Circuit style training to maximize efficiency and metabolic impact. Sample endomorph training split. Monday upper body push plus 20 minutes HIIT. Tuesday lower body plus 30 minutes steady state cardio. Wednesday full body circuit training. Thursday upper body pull plus 20 minutes. HIIT. Friday lower body plus core plus 30 minutes steady state cardio. Saturday active recovery, hiking, swimming, etc. Sunday complete rest. Strength foundation. Leverage your natural strength advantage with compound lifts like squats, deadlifts, and bench press. Endomorphs typically excel at strength movements due to favorable leverages and natural muscle mass. Include at least one heavy compound movement at the beginning of each workout. Metabolic conditioning. Incorporate metabolic conditioning work to improve insulin sensitivity and fat oxidation. Methods like complexes, circuits, and every minute on the minute provide both strength and conditioning benefits while maximizing workout efficiency. Nutrition strategy. Maintain higher protein intake, 1.8 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight, to support muscle preservation during fat loss phases. Implement carb cycling with higher carbs on training days and lower carbs on rest days. Focus on whole, unprocessed foods with high nutrient density and fiber content. Legendary endomorph Dorian Yates revolutionized bodybuilding training with his high-intensity blood and guts approach. Despite his naturally thicker physique, Yates maintained exceptional conditioning through a combination of intense, brief training sessions and meticulous nutrition. His training emphasized maximum intensity on fewer sets rather than the volume approach favored by more mesomorphic bodybuilders. This intensity-focused approach might be particularly beneficial for endomorphs looking to maximize results while managing recovery and metabolic health. Creating your personalized training plan. Now that you understand your body type and the optimal training approaches for each somatotype, it's time to create a personalized plan that addresses your specific goals, preferences, and lifestyle factors. Remember that while your body type provides a framework, individual factors like training experience, injury history, and personal preferences should also inform your program design. Step one, define your primary goal. Begin by clearly defining your primary goal. Are you primarily focused on hypertrophy, muscle growth, strength development, body recomposition, or general fitness? While your body type will influence how you approach these goals, the goal itself should direct your overall program structure. Step two, assess your current status. Take honest stock of your current fitness level, available training time, equipment access, and recovery capacity. A realistic assessment ensures your program will be sustainable rather than idealistic. Consider tracking metrics like body measurements, performance on key lifts, and recovery markers. Step three, structure your training split. Based on your body type, goals, and available time, select an appropriate training split. Ectomorphs might benefit from lower frequency with more recovery time. Mesomorphs can handle moderate to high frequency. Endomorphs often do well with higher frequency to increase energy expenditure. Step four, select appropriate exercises. Choose exercises that align with your biomechanics and body type advantages. Ectomorphs might emphasize compound movements that efficiently build overall mass. Endomorphs might include more metabolically demanding exercises. Mesomorphs can utilize a broader variety of movements. Step five, determine loading parameters. Set appropriate rep ranges, sets, and rest periods based on your somatotype and goals. Consider implementing periodization to systematically vary these parameters over time, preventing plateaus and promoting continued progress. Step six, implement progressive overload. Establish a clear strategy for progressive overload, the gradual increase of stress placed on the body during training. This might involve adding weight, increasing reps, decreasing rest periods, or improving technique over time. Remember that successful programs evolve over time based on results and feedback. Implement systematic tracking of both objective metrics, weights lifted measurements, and subjective feedback, energy levels, recovery quality. Be willing to make adjustments when progress stalls or recovery becomes compromised. The best program is one that you can consistently follow and that produces results for your unique body and circumstances. Thank you for listening to the Peak Performance Podcast and helping us stay in the top 10 health and fitness podcasts in the United States and in the top 5% globally.